Jesus motherfucking Christ. Friday Live, 5 Evil Team Network, Rumble, X, YouTube, all that good stuff. Of course, we'll join the Monument KMET 1490 AM at the bottom of the hour. Lead story: Fast and Furious, nearly fatal fiery smash up leaves carnage across SoCal streets. Appears about half a dozen street racer cars got into a big entanglement, as they say, of that. We 1000%, please do not be racing in the street. I know the racetracks are getting few and far between, but that still doesn't mean you should be putting others' lives in danger doing that, going up and down the road. But here is the ABC 7 report.
Leaves several cars damaged, one of them in flames. New video into the newsroom shows all the chaos and debris scattered across the roadway.
At least one business was also damaged in that crash.
Eyewitness News reporter Madison Weil is live at the scene with new details from police. Madison?
John, Rachel, Tony, this was just a horrific crash with several mangled cars and wreckage all over the scene here. We just got an update from police now learning that 2 cars were street racing when this all unfolded. At this hour, that crash now cleared, but still here on scene, we can see these tire marks up on the sidewalk, as well as where a car slammed into a nearby business. And take a look at this video from earlier. It shows one car up in flames.
There is 6 cars in here, man. One in the back, 2 here. Luckily, most of them that were in the accident are parked.
Yeah, that video into our newsroom overnight shows one car completely overturned on the street here, right in front of the business where we are now standing. Police say 6 cars total were involved. Again, 2 of those cars believed to be racing when they lost control and crashed, damaging 4 cars that were parked. In that video, you can see the absolute destruction and damage here on scene, broken glass and debris everywhere.
So 2 yin-yangs, idiots, damage 4 other people's cars on top of themselves on that. As they said, near fatal crash on that. We'll see if one was arrested on DUI, but the names have not been released of the perpetrators on this stupidity going on. But again, please do not be racing on the street. Today is Veterans Day, where we honor all those who served in our military in combat.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. You solemnly swear to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and to bear true faith and allegiance to the same. That I will obey the orders of President of the United States and the orders of those officers appointed over me according to regulations and the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God.
So we get to military or Veterans Day. Barely got the show on just before I got to KMET. Had a fun load of technical, and I don't know what's going on, but it seems a little sinister at times. but at least we got her on here just before we were ready to go on KMET, and we'll kick it off. We'll get as much in as we can for today, but we shall see. I can see her, Sean. I think he's kicked in.
Got about 30 seconds.
You're very lucky. I just barely got this thing on about 2 minutes before you came on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've had a fun system about. Well, it started as soon as everything was working good till I started to go to click in, and then it just like everything went poof. But we're back.
Hey, here we go. 10 seconds.
Hillbilly hoedown around.
IE Newswire Daily is on the air.
The following is a paid program. Views and claims expressed are those of the program producer and are not endorsed by this station. Opinions expressed are not necessarily those of radio station KMET, its management, employees, or affiliates.
Live guitar music that comes in every Monday through Friday live, 5:30 on the Mighty Met 1490 AM, broadcasting all over the Inland Empire and the aforementioned AM band. Join your vast video audience in the Evil Lippy Network, Rumble, X, YouTube, all that good stuff going along on that. Had one heck of a roll. Like I said, I just barely got there. We didn't get to the 5 o'clock as we usually do on IE Newswire. Just barely got her on as we're coming into KMET, but we got, it is Veterans Day. We do want to acknowledge, say, and that the veterans, those who served our country in wartime, this is a day we recognize them. And we need to, just sometimes just saying hi to a veteran or military personnel, or anyone really for that matter, will brighten their day. And just think about that. As you travel on across that, you never know. Just roll in a conversation. They mostly made, from 2 to 20 years, usually, depending on how long they enlisted or were drafted. Served in our military, protecting us, keeping us free in the greatest country in the history of the world. So a big thank you to all veterans out there currently or that have served, that are serving, that will, as soon as they get out, will be classified as veterans. One of the things I ran across, what is our willingness to fight? This was intriguing, at least to me. 77% West Asians, 73% in Middle Eastern, 96% Saudi Arabia, Abajers, I can't say it. Pakistan, 86% Georgia. Lowest are the European countries. EU down to 32%. Some of the bottom, the United States, only 41%, or say they're willing to fight for our country in the United States. This is troubling. And it's probably a reflection of our society we have today. Almost 1.5 to 1 people would not fight for the United States of America. That's something to think about, not only on this Veterans Day, but every day of the week. You know, it only takes a split second and it's gone. It took 200, well, it's clean close next 4th of July, 250 years to build the United States of America. If we keep on the current trajectory, it won't take long to flush it down the toilet. And I think a lot of it is this. I don't know, McInerney or what, Jimmy Kimmel's wife. She's on, and she's got Trump derangement syndrome bad. And this is probably the problem. Oh, she was raised in St. Louis, which is a fairly liberal Democratic area. But a lot of her relatives are big Trump supporters. And she said, I was a Republican. Da, da, da. Now Trump is just going to destroy everything. And, you know, the mean white hillbillies and the whole rigmarole. Here's from Sky News Australia with Jimmy Kimmel and this nutcase, at least my opinion, that he's married to. Here we go.
Of the personal relationship I now have, where my husband is out there fighting this man. And to me, them voting for Trump is them not voting for my husband and me and our family. And I unfortunately have kind of lost relationships with people in my family because of it. It's like this is not just Republican versus Democrat for me anymore. It is, to me, it's family values, and it's really hard for me because I grew up believing in these Christian ideals of taking care of the sick and taking care of the poor, and I don't see that happening with this Republican Party. And so it's
this goofball. If you want to go on, who do you think? Kamala Harris, Joe Biden, Barack Obama? Or who is it that you think is red hot, that destroyed your schools, destroyed your kids, destroyed your health care? Jack the food prices up where you couldn't afford them. Give them drugs, make your kids idiots. That's the family values you want, sweetheart? Or that's what you're advocating? Both you and your fool husband got some big problems. You don't have Trump derangement syndrome. You have a mental frickin' illness, and or probably both, an intelligence problem, in my opinion.
I feel like I'm kind of in constant conflict, and I'm angry all the time, which isn't healthy at all. But I like personalize everything now. When I see these terrible stories every day, I'm immediately mad at certain aunts, uncles, cousins who put him in power. And it's really hard. And I wish.
So what, do you want Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom to burn down LA? Probably a lot of your friends in Pacific Palisades, Missy, got their home smoked because of stupidity. You want vagrants in the street? You want drugs? You want men in the women's bathrooms? Missy. You are a nut. Here's a black lesbian woman. Confront Scott Wiener, who's going to probably replace Nancy Pelosi in the Congress. And he's pushing the gay rights and Trump's mean and all this other stuff about your right-wing hillbillies. He's all for naked men sitting out there and watching your kids look at them, parading up and down the streets of San Fran or wherever. That's the family values, or that's what you want to see Here's the black lesbian woman who confronted Scott Wiener and saying, hey, get the men out of the girls' women's bathrooms, locker rooms. We're getting assaulted. Here we go.
Now, you broken vice dog, don't crash. You need a reconstructive surgery. I'm transphobic and I'm black. So if there's another black woman in here who wants to tell me how they feel, please join in. But all of you are not. And I don't know who you are, what you are, but I'm a lesbian, and I'm telling you right now, men are harassing women in the locker rooms.
I think we need to protect the safety of all women, and that obviously that's incredibly important. And I also know that women are also brutalized in this country. So
I also know the trans women are brutalized. So what he's talking about, whatever, she's saying we're getting assaulted by men in our locker or in our bathrooms. Get them out. Well, you know, this fairness and all, just like the ding dong we had on there earlier with Kimmel's wife.
Men that want to say they're women, they're not women.
Yeah, that Scott Wiener. That's what we don't want to be raped by men and brutalized in our bathrooms by men. She wasn't talking about any, she's saying, hey, we want to have a reasonable, safe society. You want a thugocracy.
Please. They're not women. You're doing your passion for the Lord. I love a lot of them. They're great. But this things with the trans, it's not right.
Thank you very much.
You know what?
And she rolled out. And the trannies and the gays were all giving her crap after she got to it. And they basically threw her out of the meeting. We have some big problems. Humongous problems. People won't fight. Vast majority, over almost 60% of the people will not fight for the United States of America. You know, well, I'm going to turn my life upside down because we have what happened to being able to discuss, hey, you know, I may disagree. You may be the most left wing. You may be thinking Joe Biden or Kamala Harris or Gavin Newsom's greatest thing since sliced bread. I know a lot of people that way. I'm not upset about it. We have political discussions. We have very civil ones about it and make up points. I don't think I or the others on the other side are going to sleep or not or getting that or disowning their families over this. And she can have whatever positions, and Scott Wiener can have whatever political positions and advocate for them. That's what this is all about. But when you take this psychosis, and maybe we'll get to it tomorrow or Thursday, what's going on in the schools. They're rewarding kids for trashing the schools in California. Not just one school, most schools. We're making, as Rush used to say, young skulls full of mush, meaning young people who need to be taught. Well, we're not teaching them, we're keeping them skulls full of mush by all this idiocracy that's going on. And we're not going to change. If you've got a vast majority of people that will not defend the United States of America who are living here, I'd say that has a lot to do, especially with the illegal immigration, because those who came here illegally never assimilated. They have no loyalty to the United States. They didn't come here because they wanted to be in the United States of America. They thought, well, we're not going to starve to death in there, and we want to bring Argentina, Mexico, China, Azerbaijan, or whatever to the United States. We want to transform the United States into our country. The great Sonia Shaw, the Chino Valley School Board president and candidate for state superintendent of schools, put this up. 1 in 8 UC San Diego freshmen now needs remedial math. This is what happens when schools ditch reading, writing, and math for radical ideology. We fix this in Chino Valley, our test scores prove it. As our next state school superintendent, I'll do the same. Steve McGuire posted and Sonia reposted. New UC San Diego has released a new report documenting a steep decline in the academic preparedness of the freshmen. The number of entering students needing remedial math exploded from 1 in 100 to 1 in 8. There's the chart. 1 in 100 is 1%. 1 in 8 is 12.5%. So now we went 12.5 more times students who are going to UC San Diego. This is just from 2000. Look at the chart. This is in 15 years. Remedial math, 1 out of 8. 1 out of 100 would be even probably concerning, but manageable. 1%. How do you get to the UC, University of California, which was the top academic standard in the state of California and maybe the world? One time, the UC system, university, even Bezerkley, UCLA, UC San Diego, UC Santa Barbara, UC Davis, those were elite universities. Combined, nobody had schools that were turning out high quality graduates that were prepared to do engineering, computer science, business administration, aerospace engineering, chemistry, economists, biochemistry. They were turning out some of the best of the best. Now they don't even know that 2 plus 2 is 4. And we got this report. Obviously, it came in the tech problems. I didn't get to it, so maybe we'll get to it later in the week. But it broke in up in the Modesto area. We're rewarding kids who are in TK, pre-kindergarten. Now that is all day. You trash the school, you turn over desks, you destroy stuff, you get this sent to the principal's office, and they give you a bag of M&Ms or a milkshake. You get rewarded for destroying the school. Starting at 4 frickin' years old. I'm telling you, it's ridiculous. And then let's get to UC Bezerkley. We'll get to it, and maybe we'll get to more of the stuff later on in the week. Turning Point USA had an event up at University of California at Berkeley. They're attacking the Turning Point, riots, kicking the crap out of the ones they don't like. Oh, Turning Point USA, you like Trump, you are conservative, you would go fight for America, they'll kick the living crap out of you today. Even after the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And you don't even hardly hear this on the news anymore. It gets like a blip. And that's the sad part, is we're coming to accept this. We're accepting vagrants doing all sorts of unthinkable things. We're accepting men assaulting women on a regular basis. We accept paying $5 a gallon of gas. We're accepting those in their 20s or 30s cannot afford en masse to buy a house or start a family. They will be enslaved and they will never have no roots, no skin in the game. This stuff is, and you see it. And again, there's been a strange turn. Trump was being badass up until something changed when the Charlie Kirk assassination. Now he's going off the freaking deep end, we're going to get into foreign wars, 50-year mortgages on houses, and just talking all sorts of gibberish. He's not being Trump. He's not relating to the common man. Now he's starting to sound like an elitist. He needs to get back on track. First and foremost, release the G.D. Epstein files. That would go a long way to calming a lot of people down. Then get back to explain. And if the purpose is, and he kind of did that with Laura Ingraham, but explain. And I mean, you could make a case for it. You could say, well, we're going to give you a 50-year mortgage down to get the payment down so you get the price, get you to where you can get in. In May, we're going to get rid of Jerome Powell out of the Federal Reserve. We'll get interest rates back down. You can refinance back down. But right now, if you want to get into a house, we'll let you see your dream home, whatever, you can afford it now. Give us 6 or 7 months. We'll have this fixed. You can refinance it back down. what do you think? Is this a plausible plan? Do you think we should go for it? And if you get a positive reaction, then put it in. If not, don't. But don't start throwing out just stuff that is easily shot down with no explanation. He needs to talk more, I believe, now to the American people, not go so much on these shows or being everyday reporters' questions. And I get it, I'd like to see Susie Wiles out as chief of staff. I think Kash Patel and Pam Bondi have been complete disasters. They should be gone. I mean, the only ones I really got confidence are Bobby Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. The rest I've all got questions on. JD's been pretty good. But all across the board, and I'm saying, something happened with the Kirk assassination. People are just going all over the place. People need to start getting their bearings. Little Missy over there, Kimmel's wife, needs to settle down. Hey, accept it. If your family is Trump supporters or that's what they believe, that's fine. If you don't believe that way, you do your thing, they do them, but don't work yourself up to a frenzy or say, hey, or disown them. That's absolutely stupid. And the problem is we're getting a lot of people, maybe even a majority now, that are feeling that way or taking those actions. And that's not good, to say the least, on this Veterans Day, where we should be forge ahead. What do we got to do to be kicking some ass, like the military does? That's their job. Well, that'll do it for today. Hope you have a great rest of your Veterans Day. Take it away, Sean.
All right, Roy, take it easy. Talk to you Friday.
You got it.